Hello my dear friends, we've got a medley of videos to share with you today. These were all made for our Layout in a Weekend challenge at the Spa Valley Railway, where we were fundraising for mental health awareness. In just 2 days, we tried to livestream as many stages of building a model railway as we could. But in case you missed it, here are some tutorials by Owen and team on building baseboards and cassette fiddle yards. And from George Williamson models on a rather clever paint chipping technique. Do check out his channel for a whole range of videos on narrow gauge modelling. I'll also explain a bit about our layout and why we built it. If you want to see it for yourself, come and visit us at the Vale of Rheidol Railway's model exhibition on Saturday the 26th of October 2024.
Welcome to Titsy, a light here for Tatsfield.
Thank you for supporting our team on trying to build a model railway in just 1 weekend, raising awareness for the mental health charity Mind. Here's the grand plan. Located to the south of London, both these names are in fact real places, but our model is purely fictional. We're making a southern region branch line terminus, with pretty relaxed rules on era and what stock we run, because honestly, we just want to share the fun of playing with trains. Before the event, all we started with is a handful of pre-built kits and a baseboard.
It's basically 4 wooden boards that are 4 foot by 2 foot in diameter with a bit of 2x1 framing to support them.
It's an L-shaped track plan with a cassette-style fiddle yard, leading through a bridge and round the corner into a single platform. There's a head shunt and a run-round loop, leading into a single track shed to service the locomotive. Branch lines of course feed trains to more core routes, so we've also got a small goods yard where agricultural goods are loaded onto wagons. Once it's all finished, this design should give us plenty to display at potential future model exhibitions. Stay tuned. With 2 controllers, not only can we have timetabled passenger trains, but in the yard we can also have a shunting puzzle taking place to keep things moving. It sounds like the perfect layout for a terrier or 2. We are grateful to Pico for supplying the track for this layout, which is always our top choice for point work and highly detailed rails. And what use are rails without ballast? Thank you to Geoscenics for supporting our challenge too. Their natural scenery will blend our landscape perfectly. We don't recommend using these materials on a rushed layout like ours is, though.
I think the other good thing about a model railway as well is that it's not something that's instantly gratifying. It's something that you have to work towards over time, particularly with a layout. Normally you wouldn't necessarily build it in the course of a weekend. You would take a couple of weeks, in some cases maybe even months or years to build it. But as you work on it, you come away seeing the progress that you've made each time. Everything's something slightly different, and that's part of why I love it as well.
Hello everyone! We hope you're enjoying laughing at a bunch of fools who are spending their weekend building a model railway in a hurry. We'd like to share how hobbies such as model railways can be beneficial to your mental health. We are starting with only a few model kits and a bare baseboard. But that in itself is a crucial part in making a model railway. so crucial, we left it to our team captain Owen to deal with.
Not if I remember to put the battery in. Need a neutral bit. Okay.
Our layout, Titsy for Tatsfield, is an L-shaped layout on 4 foot by 2 foot boards, which Owen built upon a 2-inch by 1-inch frame.
Okay, right. Oh, hello. Have you come to supervise?
It's important to have a secure foundation to build any model railway or diorama upon, because wood can warp over time, and trains can struggle with even the slightest change in rail height. If your layout isn't all on one board, the most delicate matter is how to join different sections together.
You're a right old distraction, you are, aren't you?
We've used these T-nuts to have the boards bolted together. The rails at the edge will be soldered to brass pins that run through the wood. At the other end is a power connection to wire them across the joint. That's all down to our wiring lead Alex, so hopefully there's no cats to distract him working on the electrics.
Never mind, I'm trying to build a model railway layout here.
This is all fine and wood, but really it needs some scenery to go on it. Model railways are certainly a relaxing way to spend an evening, and a day out at a steam railway is even better. We're grateful to be building our layout in a weekend at the Spa Valley Railway on the East Sussex and Kent border. Let me tell you a bit more about this lovely heritage line. It takes its rather luxurious name from Royal Tunbridge Wells, where the railway begins. Made famous for its royal visitors and its chalybeate springs. The South Eastern Railway reached the town first in 1845, with the London, Brighton and South Coast Railway following with Tunbridge Wells West Station in 1876. This is the headquarters to the Spa Valley Railway today, with trains running 5 miles towards Erridge. On the way is High Rocks, in the beautiful grounds of sandstone formations, now a national monument. Further along is Groombridge, with its passing loop to allow several trains to run. These trains then run alongside the main line to Erridge, connecting with southern services towards London Bridge or Uckfield. The branch line between Erridge and Tunbridge Wells closed in July 1985, under British Railways due to road competition. But this was far from the end. A group soon formed to become the Tunbridge Wells to Erridge Preservation Society, or TWERPS, and trains returned towards the end of 1996. Since then, stations have been built, rolling stock restored, and the line extended to what you see today. Much of the initial motive power came from the recently shut North Downs Steam Railway, and now a range of engines big and small work the line. There's 2 Bullied Pacifics, 257 Squadron and Sir Keith Park, a Ginty, a lost and found Hunslet called Newstead, BR classes 31, 33, 73, a DMU, And perhaps my favourite, Stroudley Terrier Sutton, formerly Whitechapel. We are actually building our small railway in the original LBSCR loco sheds here at Tunbridge Wells West, and are very thankful to the Spa Valley Railway for hosting us. Do visit their website for more information, or even better, come down here and steam across the Spa Valley for yourself. Once again, we're building our layout in a weekend to raise awareness to better mental health. And trains big and small are certainly a great hobby that do it for me personally. As you'll have seen, there are so many different stages that go into making a model railway, but a pretty important one are the trains themselves. Our friend George Williamson of George Williamson Models has a great channel sharing how he puts high details into the smallest of models. As a special treat, here's a brand new tutorial to show you a rather worn looking painting technique.
Hi guys. So, Max and Owen asked me to give you a quick how-to. Well, luckily for you, this week's video on my own channel has seen me building the new mini-build Skarloey Open coaches, and I wanted to finish them off with a heavily chipped look. So this is a technique that some modelers struggle to master, but fear not, old Uncle George is here to show you how. The process needs to be completed in stages, and that starts with the base layer, which in the case of these coaches will be wood. You may well have your own method for painting wood, and I know of companies that sell sets of wood colours, but I have my own ideas. After the ever important primer to aid the painting stage to follow, this starts with painting the whole coach in number 82 Earth Brown by Miniature Paints. The airbrush provides a lovely thin finish so I won't lose any detail on the finely printed model. With the base coat dry, I can add a sun-bleached worn effect to the wood, and this is done by dry brushing the model with a light colour. I use light antique white for this, as it's bright but not too bright like an actual white would be. Dry brushing involves wiping 99% of the paint off the brush before painting the model itself, which leaves very light brush marks. No, it doesn't look ideal here at the moment, but trust me, it's about to spring into life. The secret weapon for paint chipping is a chipping medium spray. This needs to be sprayed between the bottom wood coat and the paint colour top coat. So I'll spray that on now. It's clear and smells great. It's also easy to use if you're a beginner. After leaving that to cure, it's time to put on the top coat. As I'm modelling these as Skarloey railway coaches, these will be a nice blue. It looks good, it's a shame I'm going to rip it off again in a minute. I've also masked off the interior as I'd like to keep that as a worn wood, so the masking tape protects it from overspray. The blue's dry, so this is where the magic can happen. Whilst the blue top coat is covering the chipping spray, it's still activated by water. So, by using a wet paintbrush, I can begin to aggravate the surface until the chipping medium springs to life and chips off the blue top coat. I'm going for a heavily chipped finish, so I'll keep going until the coach looks really sad. And after finishing the coaches off, this is the result. The coaches are really looking neglected and tired after a hard life in the unforgiving Welsh weather, which is good because that's what I wanted. And that sums it up. That's only a quick look. And if you're not familiar with my channel, just search for G. Williamson Models. You'll find great videos explaining how I do, well, everything on my layout. And as I mentioned, this week's was the full build of these coaches, so check it out to see how the rest went together. Best of luck to the team working on the layout. Raising money for Mind is so important, so do consider donating for the cause. We will all appreciate it. Cheers.
Many thanks to George Williamson for chipping in with a look at how he modelled the Skarloey Open coaches.
Hello from everyone here at the Spa Valley Railway. Our layout comprises of 3 scenic boards plus 1 fiddle yard. Now, fiddle yards can take many forms. They can be a span of sidings, a sector plate which pivots, or, as we've gone for, a cassette system. But how did we make them? Our cassettes are made up of screwing angled pieces of aluminium onto a thin layer of ply. Now, you can get pre-built cassettes, and I'm sure there are ways of making much better cassettes than we have done here. However, that wouldn't really be in the spirit of the challenge, and this is very much a learning curve for me, so bear with. The challenge with the cassette, of course, is to get the rail head on the baseboards level with the rail head of the aluminium on the ply. Something easier said than done. I started off by getting a 2-inch wide piece of ply and cutting it down to 3 foot in length. Our baseboards are 4 foot, but our maximum train is nowhere near that long. Plus, you probably want a little bit of space to move the cassettes about. So 3 foot it is. Once cut to size, use a file or some sandpaper just to smooth off the rough edges. Next, I lined up the piece of wood with inside the aluminium angles. An expert would probably use a scribe to mark on the metal where it needs to be cut. However, I left the wood in place and using a small saw, cut the angles to the required length. After cutting the metal, use a file to remove any burred edges. If you're like me and have bought wood that is a little bit too thin to make things level, you can raise the level of your cassettes by putting a bit of card or some cork on. I used a set square to make sure that the ends of the metal lined up with the ends of the ply. I then used a picot track setter to set the distance between the 2 angles all the way down. This will make sure that everything is in gauge and that your stock can roll freely along once you've finished. Then, using a centre punch, I marked 4 points to drill through for the screws. You don't want to leave a mark right in the corner of the angle because you have to take into consideration the size of the screw head. Once you've left the marks, get your drill and drill away. I screwed down the first of the 2 angles and then, with the help of a picot track setter, screwed down the second at the correct distance so that rolling stock will move freely along the runners. With everything screwed in place, you have a finished cassette. Cassette systems are great because you can have a line of trains stored and ready to go at a moment's notice. Not bad for a first attempt. I better run to B&Q and get some more. I did buy enough metal.
Model railways can take years to finish, but we're attempting to build one from scratch in just one weekend.
In a world that's becoming more and more sort of digital centric, where everything's online or on a computer, it's really nice to have a hobby where at the end of it you can take a step back and there is something tangible to look at. And that is definitely what you can come away with from a model railway hobby, whether it's building a kit or, as we're doing in this challenge, building a full layout.
I think it's rare to be at a model exhibition and actually build the model whilst you're there that you're supposed to be exhibiting, so it's definitely going to be an interesting experience.
We're doing this to raise awareness for Mind Mental Health Charity, because we want to share how hobbies like this can really help to ease stress and be a calming way to unwind.
Now, 1 in 4 people will be diagnosed with a mental health condition at some point during their lives, and that is nothing to be embarrassed about. Mind is a brilliant charity to turn to because better mental health is their top priority. Their info line and online chats are perfect for finding confidential advice for anyone who needs it.
Thankfully, pastimes such as this are open to everyone.
The great thing about model railway is it can be a solo thing, but you can do it with a group of friends or a club if you so desire. All the people that I'm working with on this challenge over the weekend, I have pretty much met as a result of model railway and the world around it. And it's nice because then you feel like you're part of a community.
If you'd like to find out more about improving your own mental health, check out Mind's website for phone lines, online chats, and general information. Many thanks to my brilliant channel patrons: Alex Goodman, GBH Train, D0280 Falcon, Sean Tempest, Random Thomas Fan, Dark White 73, Andrew Dyack, Reese Lee Walter, Ryan RTS, Ewan Pentland, Steam Power 4472, and Firewind 10.